Why, hello. I'll confess my slightly surprised reaction came out of the fact that I was genuinely unsure if the record would record. But hello, it's been a hot minute. And it probably shouldn't have been a hot minute, I'll confess. So, if memory serves, Turtle Talks triumphantly returned about 3 months ago. And now, as of recording, it's the 1st of May. And I haven't uploaded a turtle talk in a hot minute. Reasons for that. I did say that I would be exploring the back catalog and possibly uploading some of those. I didn't. If you're expecting that footage of Power Wash Simulator to move, it's not gonna move just yet. Last time I did this, I did a combination of doing a Power Wash thing and talking, which kind of worked, but this time I'm gonna do a couple of. I'm gonna change it up. I will, eventually, that screen will move, but again, don't expect anything major groundbreaking in terms of gameplay. It's not what this is. This is a podcast. Stick this on, change to the other tab of whatever you're doing, and let's just have a chat for a while. So, I actually can't remember how long it's been since the last Turtle Talk, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna look that up now. But what inspired this? What brought back my need or my real want to do a turtle talk? I could be real vague and just be like, yeah, nothing in particular. I just wanted to do it. So about a week ago, this isn't the main thing, but about a week ago, I was tasked by the beautiful Cyber Prime to make a video. Well, not a video, actually. I tell a lie. I was tasked by Cyberprime to make an episode of the pod on my own, and I did it on my own. I chucked out about 30 minutes, and yeah, it was quite good. So yes, I am now officially looking, and oh my gosh, it's worse than I thought. So, Turtle Talk Season 2, the solo talk. 4 months ago. Wow. So, let's have a look. Oh my goodness, it's worse than I thought. So, I thought I had uploaded this year. I was greatly mistaken. So, the last Turtle Talks, for some godforsaken reason, maybe it was a Christmas present, I uploaded on the 20th of December last year. 4 days before Christmas, I was out here making Turtle Talks. Wow, that's. So, I don't remember exactly what I said in that turtle talk, so it was about 20 minutes. Again, it was the solo talk. It was something that I always wanted to do, a solo turtle talk. And doing the solo episode of The Boys kind of reawakened a few things. It's like, hey, this isn't actually terrible. Again, that isn't to say that I don't love doing a podcast with The Boys. Is this what Turtle Talks will turn into? I don't know. Listen, we just had the equivalent of a 5 month break. Is it something I'll bring back? Maybe. I don't know. I do find this is just nice to have a conversation. You know, something not at all unique on the internet. I did so my morning actually I started out I don't know why I just had this strange urge to do a turtle talk again. It is not it's not like my life has gotten any less busy or any more busy, but it's still busy. Um, yeah, it's this morning I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a turtle talks again. Also, this morning I had delusions of grandeur. My I'm not even going to discuss a plan. My various plans is like, oh, it's the start of the month. I could do turtle talks as maybe a monthly series. If that was something I was planning in December of 2023, then I was mistaken. But I do want to keep Turtle Talks going more regularly. Yes, it has become a giant joke on the Du Bois podcast. Check that out. I probably won't have a link in the description, but if you're here, you probably know who Cyberprime is. There's so much I want to talk about, but I don't exactly know where to start. Um, I don't even know what inspired me to return to the world of Turtle Talks. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say that word a hell of a lot. But it's been a busy couple of days for me. I've been through a lot of stuff. Like, this isn't me being like, oh, emotions. It's been hectic. Um, I don't know how much I've said, but just a lot of work things and a lot of events are happening there that I'd love to discuss. But the fear is someone from the work finds out, and then I'm dogged in. If you're listening, hey! I find that weird of just like, imagine you find, unless it isn't openly advertised, of someone's kind of thing, especially if it's kind of like not openly. So, you see, I'm a bit hypocritical here because on my channel there are currently a few videos. Excuse my yawn. But still, I'm not cutting that out. This is Turtle Talks. It is pure, unfiltered Turtle Talks. You want filtered? You want censored Turtle Guy? You're not gonna find it on Du Bois either, because I don't think Cyber is that lenient on his editing. Well, no, you know what? It's not even. Why am I throwing poor Cyber on the bus? In fairness, I think we've improved. I haven't met yeah, I couldn't even finish that sentence. I think I did it 2 episodes ago. I think more, less, I'm unsure. Um, but I've come on to a Turtle Talk with absolutely nothing to talk about. That's wild. One thing that I will state, and I think I'm allowed to state it, I was working on a script. The world of writing has quite literally, I've entered into it slightly. Now, I still enjoy many other theatrical pursuits, but there's a little bit of freedom in it. One thing I will state, because I'm mentioning December of 2023 an awful lot, because that's apparently when the last Trail Dogs came out. Oh my goodness. I have not died, I just decided to yawn. Also, my legs are so tired. I've done so much walking today. It's. Ooh. But enough chit chat. So, typically, the deal with New Year's is you make a New Year's resolution. Now, I vaguely remember what the other the boys in the podcast their ones were, but hey, it's not my story to share, and I respect their wishes. But I had quite a few, but some were sort of vague. But I can happily say, so one of them was that I always wanted to go to London last year. If you're a faithful listener of the boys in the pod, you will see that we went to Manchester, and I was like, "Ooh, I got close. I got to England," and that was something I want. I was like, "I want to go to England," and we went to Manchester. It's like, ha, not where I wanted to go exactly, but fuck it, we ball. Um, so then this year I decided a few things. Thing number one, I wanted to see a show on the West End in London. So I wanted to go to London, but my main priority was showing the West End. And I can thankfully say that I did. Now, more information coming on that. One other slight thing that I always had, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was a bucket list item, but it wasn't really a New Year's thing either. Oh my god. Why am I full of yawns? Jesus. Terrifying. So, where was I? Ah, yes. The third slash second thing I wanted to do was I always wanted to meet David Tennant, actor, fellow podcaster. He did a podcast. I don't think he does it anymore. I think it was around about lockdown time. David Tennant does a podcast with Turtle Guy, maybe? No, that's not the name, but it was David Tennant does a podcast with. And listen, Mr. Tennant, may I call you David? Um, Not to be confused with Dave Kivo, friend of the channel. Uh, you're my number one, baby. But, again, Mr. Tennant, may I call you David? If your people contact my people, maybe we'll get you on Turtle Talks. It's pretty hard to get on. I'm gonna tell you that straight off the gate. And even if you even if you make it past that hurdle, uh, you, your interview may not see the light of day. I'm realizing now, 4 yawns in, that I probably maybe this is my body giving me a sign of just like, yeah, bud, you shouldn't be podcasting or talking. You're tired. But yeah, I can delightfully confirm that I got tickets to see David Tennant in a play on the West End. Also, I'm really paranoid now saying the fucking name of the play near a fucking theater because last week I had a class in a theater and I mentioned it out loud. The person was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that. It's superstitious. I'm superstitious," and I was just like, "But I'm happy. I'm excited." I was happy that I wanted to scream it from the rooftops. But a quick Google will answer the question of what the play is. It's the Scottish Shakespeare play that rhymes with Macbeth. It's actually not a bad cover name for it. I like that one. I don't know how curses work. This is the topic we're going down. I, I, I don't even. I do remember someone who was explaining. It's just like, yeah, the rule is you don't say it. You don't say it just when you're doing another show. That's fun. And then what my memory is explicitly is there was an episode of The Simpsons. I believe they went to England or Scotland. I think it was England. And The Simpsons, because it's The Simpsons, stepped outside of the theater with Macbeth on it. And then I don't know if it was actually Ian McKellen or someone imitating him, because The Simpsons does that an awful lot where they have an actor show up, but then sometimes it could be someone imitating the actor, but then sometimes it could be the actual actor. So, for those of you playing the home game, we're officially on Yawn 5. Anyway, back to me. Back to me butchering a really funny bit from The Simpsons. Ian McKellen stood outside. Hold on. I now actually need to look this up. I need to look up number one, was it Ian McKellen? And number two, what was he wearing? I say that. I am asking that because my memory is just. My memory is giving me an image, but it doesn't make sense. Because they're standing outside. They're standing outside of the theater. Okay, it does make sense. So yeah, it's Ian McKellen. Okay, I don't know, obviously, if that's him voicing him. There's another character here that also seems like. Okay, so my main issue, trying to negate from the rambling, was that I always remembered him. He didn't look as if he was dressed like someone in Shakespeare should, but he very much is because he's wearing a kilt. But was it voiced by Ian McKellen? Okay, the streets are saying yeah, but of course we don't really trust the streets here on Turtle Guide. On Turtle Guy. No. Occupation, active experience episode portrayed by himself. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an actor. We got an actor. The fuck you mean we got an actor, you dumbass? We got an answer. So, according to the Simpsons wiki, which better fucking not be incorrect, Ian McKellen played Ian McKellen, which I'm sure you all no doubt asked or figured out quicker than I ever could. How in the fuck did I get onto this point? Oh yes, I'm going to see David Tennant in Macbeth later this year. So that is one of the things that was on my list. That was one of the things that I always wanted to do, and even mentioning it to people today is just like, wow. Regardless of the play, it's 90 minutes of David Tennant, and I was like, you're damn right it is. So, what I've also, so my two New Year's resolutions being very vague. No, three. See a West End show in London. Or see a show in the West End, brackets, in London. Therefore, I would have to get to London. Option, no. Uh, Sweet Jesus, man. Oh yeah, see David Tennant. But again, that was always on the long thing, and again, seeing him on the stage is merely a stepping stone. I now need to see this man at a Comic Con and get a picture and communicate. Step one. This is all just baby steps. Because I fear if I were to just the delirium setting in, boys. I fear if I just met him, I think it would be like the internet modem noises. Ah yes. If you made it through this so far, you deserve all the awards because I can't make heads nor tails of it, and I'm the one doing it. My third thing that I wanted, and it just so appears that Cyberprime has gone, but I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna wrap up. I have no idea how long I've been rambling for, but I'll start it so I'd finish. The third thing that I wanted, that I mentioned up top, that I'd really got interested in the world of writing theatre. So, what have I done? Well, what I decided to do was this. Last year, instead of doing my college dissertation, I wrote a play, which is fucking ridiculous in hindsight, because now all of the people doing my course this year, so you're given the option of writing a classic dissertation, which is oh so many words. I haven't got a notion, I can't remember. I think it was near. Oh, we're already on six. God damn. So, you had an option of making an artifact. I'll explain what that is in a second. Or making a classic dissertation with, let's say, 8,000 words. Obviously, because I'm very smart, I decided I'll make the classic dissertation. Now, there was a few reasons behind this. Reason one was I wasn't 100% sure how this whole artifact thingy worked. Because it was the first year I was coming in, and I was like, you know what, I'll stick to my guns. Um, you'll never guess, actually, on the topic, I wrote my dissertation on Doctor Who. Hey, right what you know, somehow it fucking worked. Now, everyone in the course this year is doing that creative artifact thing, which is making a performance piece, and 9 out of 10 involve writing a script. So I find that hilarious that I, in my procrastination, and again, I suppose you could call me coming back to Turtle Talks was procrastination, but we don't have time to talk about that now. Blame Cyberprime for cutting this beautiful episode of Turtle Talks so short because now I have to go and, he really needs me to. I'm the real backbone. 990 of those subscribers, partly because I'm there. Oh wow, the ego untired me, eh? But, sweet Jesus, rambling. Where in the hell was I? Nah, it's fucking gone. I can't remember. Yes, so I got it now. Instead of writing my dissertation on Doctor Who, I don't think I was No, I don't think I ever procrastinated on the dissertation. I think it always took priority. But instead of doing essays and exams and all that other bullshit, I decided, fuck it, I'll write a play. So what happened, and I won't give away too many of the details, I think the year before, we were talking about a theater play and a historical event that happened. Again, I don't want any of you guys stealing my ideas, but what occurred on said event was like, I'd really like to make you know what would be so cool? If someone made a play about that. And then my brain just kind of went like, oh yeah, no, that's like hundreds of years old at this point. That happened, yeah, a little over 100 years. And I was just like, you know what? Someone's already probably beat me to it. Let them at it. And I basically had the idea and immediately was just like, number one, someone has probably already meant that play. Number two, it's it I can't write a fucking play. And number three, it doesn't seem like a good idea. However, and I don't even know why, but just kind of my brain was like, so then, almost a year on, the only major difference was I was writing a little bit more and other things. And I wrote a small, very small little script thing, which I actually kind of enjoyed. And this idea came back again. They were talking about this play, and the idea came back, and I remember I was looking. We were given a sheet, and there was like this image on it. And I remember doodling around it, and then the idea popped back in my head. Oh, a play where this happens, kind of like a meta commentary thing, and just all about like, oh, how this came to be. And this time my brain was like, instead of like, oh, well, number one, you can't write that, and number two, it's already been done, I was kind of like, oh, hold on, look it up. This seems like like, if you're interested in it, surely there's something here. So, I decided to do, I looked it up. And it was difficult to look up because it was looking up something that didn't exist, but it was making sure that it didn't exist. To my knowledge, anyway. So I look it up, and as fate would have it, there was nothing. No one had written a play about this at all. So then I was just like, huh, maybe I should. And what happened? I think we were off for Easter, and I wrote a scene or two, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. I wrote one of my favorite scenes that I've ever written ever, and put it into it, and I really like it. I was like, okay, it's pretty good. And then I was just like, okay, let's just put it to one side. But it was something that I always like. The procrastination was real. I had essays and deadlines coming at me fast and furious, for lack of a better word. So then I think maybe at the end of Easter, or before I had all of my college stuff done, I had finished it. I had finished the play, and I had a first draft. Um, I will confess, I've changed it a lot since, but I've never gotten it to the point, in my view, where I've moved on from that original first draft. I've tried several times, but I could never, for some reason, get it to a second draft. Now, part of the reason was with every time I tried redrafting it, I always felt as if the play was too long, or if there was just something not right. So it was like, okay, this character is useless, remove. And then I'd try and make the play without that character. But it would never work. I could never get it to the finish line. So then I sent it to a few people that I know that do theater. Some people read a few scenes and was like, hey, this is actually quite good. And I think most of them I'd always explained the idea to. Another person who read it, and they were honestly a little bit probably the reason why I'm still exploring this and I haven't completely there are so many things in life. I think Turtle Talks is a prime example of that. Shout out Cyber Prime because I said Prime. There are so many things in life that is so easy to drop. If you don't have someone in your corner motivating you, like, no, this is good. This is actually not great, no, but good. And that was something else I was told recently. There's never bad. There's good, there's better, and there's great. You can get something good and you can make it better. And then you can go from better to great. This person also said, like, don't judge yourself. And I'm like, okay. But also don't be unrealistic. Like, realism and, like, don't go around thinking, like, da 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 da. But alas. So, I made that draft, I want to say, I think I finished it probably a year ago. But again, could never get a second draft of it. Sent it around to a few people. Didn't get major feedback, but I got that one person, and I think that was all I needed. One person that was in my corner and said, "This is genuinely good." A few little issues, but it's a good idea, and what it is a good start. And for ages, I was always like, "Oh, I could send it to this kind of person that I know that is, pretty like obviously not like a king of theater by any means, but has done a lot of like scripty stuff before." And it said, "Oh, send us a script." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I could do that." But then as time progressed, and I think I could get deeper into this in a future Turtle Talk, but a week ago, I sent that script to that person. I obviously haven't got any feedback, but yeah, that was so. Most members, if not all members of the Boys in the Pod, have read that script, by the way, and absolutely no discredit to them. In fact, apart from that one person, they have also been my biggest supporters. I immediately just want to set that right before I get angry waves. So, it wasn't one person. There was a whole. I think it was just more so that one person stuck out to me because they weren't. Okay, they weren't not my friend, but it was just they didn't know me as much. And I am by no means saying that the boys are biased, but this is a person that I've seen, they've put on plays, and they've seen a lot of theatre. And to come to me and say, like, oh, this is actually quite good, it's very strong. And I was just like, oh, wow. Again, absolutely no disrespect to the boys. The boys have been in my corner since day one, and still are. But, yeah. So I'm gonna end this episode of Turtle Talk. See you in December again. Or hold on, no, I am fair god. I'm a fair god. And may we'll catch you again in September because that's how I do things now. um, if you have an idea, I'm actually gonna quote someone. If you have an idea, so this is a quote from Stan Lee that I actually kind of like. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna be even more accurate. So I wanna quote him accurately. So this may take a second. Shit, how do you okay. So basically, what I'm gonna say, Turtle Guy wise, before I read out the quote, which I think is good, which I think is great. Um if you're doing something and you have an idea and you don't think it's good, this is Turtle Guy saying, just give it that little push. Give it to someone that you trust, or give it to someone that you think is gonna. Obviously, don't give it to someone that you know is gonna rip it in half. But just maybe give it to someone else, or even have a look at it yourself in the belief that, you know what, this may not be great, but it's good. And if I can know that it's good, I can make it better. And then one day, I can make it great. Turtle Guy, May 1st, 2024. So, I'm gonna end this video with a quote from the man himself. If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. Whatever you do, give it your best shot, and you'll be glad you did. I'd like to thank you all for listening to this episode of Turtle Talks. I hope to do this more regularly, and I will see you, whatever that may be, in the next one. Good night.